Have you ever wondered why some people stay in your mind, even when you don't want them to? You go on with your life, enjoy new experiences, and meet new faces, but still, they appear in your thoughts like a shadow from the past, showing up when you least expect it. Carl Jung believed that these repeated thoughts aren't just coincidences. They are messages from our unconscious, encouraging us to explore and understand more deeply. The human mind isn't just a tool that analyzes facts and forgets what doesn't matter. It keeps what's emotionally powerful, what isn't resolved, and what still holds meaning, sometimes even when we don't want it to. If someone keeps showing up in your thoughts, it could mean there's an unnoticed emotional link between you and that person, something that's still unfinished in your inner world. Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious suggests that we're all connected by an invisible web of shared experiences, symbols, and feelings that go beyond just one person. Some people come into our lives and leave a mark on this deeper part of us. Their presence in our thoughts isn't just a memory, it's a message. Sometimes these recurring thoughts are linked to feelings we haven't fully understood. It could be love, regret, respect, or even anger. But no matter the emotion, the fact that this person stays in your mind shows that your unconscious is holding on to them for a reason. The mind doesn't replay things that don't matter. It focuses on what is important, on what needs to be faced. Then, there's the matter of unresolved emotional energy. When relationships, encounters, or even brief moments leave a strong emotional mark, they stay with us. The unconscious mind doesn't follow the same sense of time as our conscious mind. It doesn't care how much time has passed, whether it's been weeks or years. If something remains unresolved, it continues to influence our thoughts and feelings without us realizing it. Have you ever heard a song that immediately took you back to a certain moment, person, or feeling? That's because the mind stores memories in emotional groups, and just one reminder can bring everything rushing back. If someone stays on your mind, it might be because the emotional connection between you was never fully let go of. But it goes even deeper. Some people stay in our thoughts not because of who they are, but because of what they symbolize. The unconscious communicates through symbols. It links people to lessons, desires, and even past wounds. Sometimes, the person you can't stop thinking about isn't just a person. They represent something larger within you. Perhaps these people represent a deep yearning, an unresolved hurt, or a missing part of your personal journey. Jung thought that our minds hold on to these figures because they are connected to our personal growth. Until we understand what they represent in our unconscious, they will keep appearing in our thoughts. The real question is, what is your mind trying to communicate to you? Now that we've explored why certain people stay in your thoughts, let's go a step further. What if the way you view them is actually a reflection of something inside yourself? Have you ever felt a strong attraction or an unexplainable dislike for someone without fully understanding why? Maybe you put someone on a pedestal, thinking they were perfect, only to feel let down when you realize they had flaws just like everyone else. Or perhaps you met someone who bothered you for no clear reason, making you feel stronger emotions than the situation seemed to deserve. Carl Jung believed that these strong reactions often aren't really about the other person. They're about you. They're reflections of hidden parts of your own mind, projected onto others as if they were characters in a movie. This is the core idea behind psychological projection, the unconscious process where we blame others for the feelings, traits, or problems that we don't recognize in ourselves. Jung explained that our mind consists of two parts: the conscious self, the part we are aware of, and the unconscious, which holds everything we hide, reject, or have trouble accepting. When we find ourselves constantly thinking about someone, it often happens because they reflect something inside us that we haven't fully faced. It could be a fear we haven't dealt with, a hidden wish, or a part of ourselves we don't want to acknowledge. For example, if you're always thinking about someone who exudes confidence and charm, it might be because deep down, you wish you had those qualities too. On the other hand, if someone triggers strong negative feelings in you, it could be because they represent something within you that you have trouble accepting. The more we ignore parts of ourselves, the more control they have over us, and the more we project them onto others. Jung referred to this hidden side of us as the shadow, those emotions, desires, and urges that society or our upbringing taught us to hide away. We often think we know ourselves completely, but in reality, much of who we are is hidden beneath the surface. When we meet someone who makes a strong impact on us, they might be bringing out a part of our hidden self. This is why certain people seem to linger in our thoughts. They may symbolize something we need to understand or something we're subconsciously trying to work through. Our minds don't focus on just anyone. We focus on those who reflect something about us, whether we realize it or not. The real reason someone is always on your mind might not be about them at all. It could be about a part of yourself that's waiting to be discovered. But projection isn't limited to people. It can also shape the way we see the world. The way we see others is often colored by what we feel inside. If we have deep insecurities or worries that we've never fully faced, we might start to believe that others are judging us, even when they're not. It's as if we're looking through a lens of self-doubt, assuming that others are seeing our flaws too. When we feel bad about ourselves, we might look at others and think they have it all together, that they're somehow better or more successful than we are. This belief can create unnecessary competition or jealousy, as we feel like we're always falling short. And if we've been hurt in the past, whether by a friend, a partner, or someone we trusted, it's easy to bring that pain into new relationships. Without realizing it, we might start to expect the same behaviors from new people, repeating old patterns of mistrust or fear. All these feelings, insecurities, comparisons, past wounds, can shape how we interact with others, even when we don't want them to. These inner struggles are like shadows that follow us, influencing the way we relate to the world. When we carry unresolved pain or negative self-beliefs, they can prevent us from seeing others clearly and from forming authentic connections. It's easy to assume that everyone around us is judging, competing, or out to hurt us. But often, those thoughts are reflections of our own inner turmoil. Once we begin to recognize these patterns, we can start to break free from them. It's about healing those old wounds, embracing who we are, and learning to view others through a lens of openness, not fear. When we do this, our relationships become more genuine, and we're able to connect with others without the weight of our past dragging us down. Recognizing projection is important because it helps us take back the parts of ourselves we've unknowingly given away. The people we think about constantly, look up to, or feel angry with often reflect something inside of us. The key is to stop looking outward for answers and begin exploring within ourselves. So, what happens when these projections are connected to strong emotional ties, when the bond is more than just in our minds but in our hearts? Some people don't just pass through our lives, they make such a deep impression that it feels impossible to forget them. Even after time has passed, even when we tell ourselves we've moved on, their presence stays with us like an unfinished thought. Why does this happen? Why do some emotional connections feel unbreakable, even when we try to let go? Carl Jung believed that emotional connections aren't just mental experiences. They become a part of our unconscious, influencing our thoughts, actions, and even who we believe we are. When an emotional connection is left unfinished, it quietly but strongly continues to influence our mind. It's like a part of our inner self is still connected to the other person, reliving past moments, seeking answers, or trying to understand what was left incomplete. Science supports this idea. When we form a strong emotional bond, our brain builds pathways that link that person with feelings of safety, love, or even hurt. These pathways don't just vanish when the relationship ends. Instead, they stay active, lighting up when something reminds us, whether it's a familiar smell, a song, or even a sudden thought. This is why certain people remain in our minds. Our brain has literally connected them to our emotions. The stronger the bond, the more powerful these connections become, making it hard to stop thinking about them. If an emotional experience remains unresolved, whether it's from heartache, regret, or unfinished business, it can get stuck in our unconscious, repeating itself as the mind tries to find closure. The mind doesn't revisit the past because it misses it, but because it's searching for something, an answer, understanding, or closure that was never given. But emotional connections aren't just about the brain. They're deeply tied to the unconscious, where feelings we haven't dealt with stay hidden. When we refuse to face certain emotions, they don't disappear. They leave behind traces, affecting us in ways we might not even notice. Have you ever felt like someone keeps appearing in your thoughts, even after they're no longer in your life? This happens because on some level, part of you is still emotionally connected to them. Jung believed that emotions we haven't resolved are like unfinished business. As long as we don't face them, they keep demanding our attention. At times, we hold on because of what that person represented, a part of ourselves we lost, a dream that didn't come true, or a hope that was never fulfilled. In this way, the connection isn't just about that person. It's about what they represent inside us. So how can we let go of these unresolved emotional ties? The first step is understanding that our thoughts about someone often reflect something much deeper within us, not just about them. What emotions haven't we fully dealt with? So often, we push our feelings aside, bury them under the surface because facing them can feel too overwhelming. Perhaps it's a lingering sadness from a past loss, a moment of anger that never quite faded, or a fear that still makes us hesitate. These emotions don't simply disappear. They stay with us, quietly influencing our decisions and our interactions. They shape how we see the world and how we move through it. What lessons are still waiting to be learned? Each experience, even the painful ones, carries wisdom. Maybe we haven't fully grasped the lesson in letting go of expectations or in finding peace with imperfection. Until we do, we'll keep repeating old patterns without even realizing it. And what part of ourselves is still holding on to that relationship or past situation? It could be a piece of our identity, tied to who we were when we were with someone, or an unresolved need for closure. Understanding these connections allows us to untangle the knots that bind us, freeing us to move forward. Letting go isn't about erasing memories or pretending they didn't matter. It's about accepting them for what they are and understanding how they shaped us. It's about giving ourselves the space to truly feel what we've been through, to process the pain, the joy, the lessons, and then to make peace with them. When we do this, the constant mental replaying stops because we've absorbed the lesson and it no longer has the power to linger in the background. But sometimes, just when we think we've moved on, life seems to send us gentle reminders, coincidences or encounters that feel too meaningful to be mere chance. What if these aren't random events at all? What if they're signs, whispers from the universe, guiding us towards something we've yet to fully understand? There are moments when everything aligns perfectly, as if fate is nudging us in a direction we hadn't considered. These moments might appear as just little chance occurrences, but deep inside, we can sense that they hold a deeper meaning, pointing us toward the next step in our journey. Carl Jung called this experience synchronicity, the occurrence of meaningful coincidences that go beyond the usual course of events. It's the feeling that the paths of our lives are somehow connected by forces we don't fully understand, but can't ignore. Synchronicity isn't just about things happening at random. It's the sensation that something truly important is unfolding right in front of you. When you keep being reminded of someone you've been thinking about, or when a series of events seem too perfectly timed to just be chance, your unconscious mind may be hinting that there's a deeper link between you and that person. These coincidences tend to happen when emotions are running high, when your mind is full of things left unresolved, desires unspoken, or issues still hanging. It's as if the universe is responding, giving you signs, bringing that person back into your thoughts, or showing you a new layer of the connection that's still with you. Jung believed that these moments weren't mere accidents. They pointed to a hidden order beneath the seeming chaos of life. The people who fill your thoughts might not just be there by coincidence. They could be part of something significant in your personal growth. Synchronicity, in this way, is more than just a collection of random events. It's the unfolding of moments that reveal a deeper, unconscious link. Maybe the universe is showing you that these relationships are not just coincidences, but important parts of your own inner growth. Every person, event, and feeling holds meaning, even if it's not obvious right away. When synchronicities appear, it's often a sign to pay closer attention, to notice the hidden patterns in your life. The signs you see may not always make sense at first, but they hold emotional and symbolic importance. They reflect the connection between what's happening inside you and what's unfolding in the world around you. Maybe the person who keeps appearing in your thoughts isn't just someone from your past. They could represent something in your own mind that's ready to be understood or healed. The invisible link between you and them carries meaning, and synchronicity serves as a gentle reminder to look closer, to trust in these mysterious connections, and to believe that there's a purpose behind them. Sometimes, these meaningful moments make us wonder, is everything just a coincidence? Or is there a deeper connection that goes beyond what we see? While these signs might not always give us clear answers, they encourage us to think that there might be more to the people who linger in our minds, something that connects to a bigger pattern we haven't yet fully grasped. At times, the people who stay with us aren't just individuals. They become something greater, taking on symbolic meaning in our subconscious. These people turn into archetypes, universal symbols that represent deeper parts of who we are and what we've experienced. They stop being just people and start representing qualities, desires, or unresolved issues within us. Carl Jung explained that archetypes are ancient symbols passed down from our shared human history that influence how we see the world and ourselves. They help us understand different aspects of our personality. And when someone stays in your thoughts for a long time, they might be acting as an archetype in your mind, representing something important that you need to explore. Take the example of the mentor, the wise figure who helps guide you through challenges and encourages growth in ways you might never have expected. Perhaps someone in your life filled this role, and when they appear in your thoughts, it's not about them personally, but about the wisdom they shared with you. Or maybe it's the lover, a symbol not just of romantic feelings, but also of a deeper desire for connection, vulnerability, and self-expression. This person, though real, may represent a part of you that's longing for love, acceptance, or closeness, things that might not have been fully explored yet. When people transform into archetypes in your mind, they stop being just individuals. They become carriers of personal change and growth. Jung believed that archetypes come to life through the way our inner world interacts with the outer world. These figures shape how we connect with others, and, in the end, how we relate to ourselves. As we journey through life, we meet different archetypal figures, each one playing a role in our personal development. The person who constantly occupies your thoughts could be serving as a mirror, reflecting a part of you that you are subconsciously trying to understand or express. They may represent an aspect of your growth or a quality you're working to bring into your life. Whether they show up as the warrior, pushing you to test your limits, the victim, stirring up feelings of helplessness, or the shadow, forcing you to face your darker side. These figures are all offering you lessons about who you are and who you're becoming. But what happens when a real person becomes stuck in the role of an archetype, when we put them on such a high pedestal that they no longer seem like a person, but more like a symbol? In these situations, we stop seeing them as individuals and start projecting our own hopes and expectations onto them. This is where the risk comes in, when the person in your thoughts is no longer seen as a whole, complex human being. This is where the risk lies. When someone in your thoughts stops being a full, real person and turns into just an archetype in your mind, it becomes harder to accept their flaws, imperfections, or the changes they inevitably go through. This kind of projection often leads to disappointment because the person can never truly meet the idealized version you've built. However, the real lesson comes when you recognize this pattern and learn to appreciate the complexity of others and of yourself, rather than holding on to simple, one-sided images. The people who stay in our minds aren't just memories from the past. They play an important role in shaping how we see ourselves. When you realize that someone has become an archetype in your mind, you open up the possibility to change how you relate to them and to the parts of yourself that they represent. The real question is, what is it about this person that encourages you to grow? And how can you use that understanding to get closer to your true self? When someone keeps popping up in your thoughts, it can feel overwhelming, like your mind is stuck in a never-ending cycle of thinking about them. The first step in breaking free from this mental trap is realizing that these constant thoughts aren't necessarily signs of weakness or obsession. Instead, they're an invitation, a chance to dive deeper into your own mind, to explore why this person keeps appearing, and to discover the unresolved feelings or connections that are keeping you tied to them. Carl Jung's idea of individuation offers a helpful guide for this process. Individuation is the journey of bringing together all parts of who you are, both the parts you're aware of and the parts you've hidden from yourself. It's about confronting the parts of you that you may have ignored or pushed away, and allowing them to come to the surface. When someone stays in your thoughts, it's often because they're linked to a part of you that you haven't fully understood or accepted yet. The path to freeing your mind begins with self-awareness, which means truly taking the time to explore your thoughts and emotions. Start by asking yourself why this person occupies such a strong space in your mind. What is it about them that triggers such a reaction in you? When their name or image pops into your thoughts, what emotions surface? Are they positive or negative, or is there a mix of both? Perhaps there are unresolved feelings you haven't fully faced, or needs that have been left unmet, like the desire for validation, love, or respect. Or maybe there are deeper unspoken feelings like regret or hurt that you've kept hidden. Sometimes we even project aspects of ourselves onto others, qualities we admire or wish we had, or even traits we don't like about ourselves. It's possible that this person represents something you've yet to fully process, a missed opportunity, an old wound, or even a dream you never chased. Once you begin to identify these feelings, you start to peel back the layers that have been holding them in place. By understanding the root of your emotional attachment, you can begin to loosen its grip on your mind. This awareness allows you to see things more clearly, without the cloud of unprocessed emotions. You can start to accept these feelings, understand where they come from, and how they've shaped your interactions and thoughts. It's not about erasing them or pretending they don't exist, but rather allowing yourself to see the full picture. This is the first step toward emotional freedom, detaching from what holds you captive and making space for new, healthier patterns to emerge. Writing in a journal, meditating, or simply asking yourself deep questions can help you figure out why you can't stop thinking about someone. Once you understand what's causing these thoughts, you can start to let go of the strong emotions that are pulling you back to them. Another important step is learning to emotionally distance yourself. This doesn't mean forgetting the person or pretending they didn't matter. It means shifting your focus away from constantly thinking about them to a place where your feelings are more balanced. Detaching in this way helps you find peace within yourself, without being controlled by the unresolved emotions connected to that person. One effective way to detach is by practicing mindfulness, being fully present with your thoughts and feelings without judging them. Instead of getting caught up in a story about this person, simply notice your thoughts as they come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. With time, you'll be able to create space between yourself and the emotions that used to feel overwhelming. In the end, freeing your mind means embracing the journey of healing and growth. Every experience, even the ones that bring lingering thoughts about someone, offers a chance for personal change. The process of individuation encourages us to face our hidden or forgotten parts, our shadows, and bring them into our full self. If someone continues to fill your thoughts, it might be because they represent something unresolved within you. Maybe they show a quality you want to develop, a pain that still needs healing, or a lesson you haven't yet learned. Rather than fighting these thoughts, let them help guide you to deeper self-understanding and emotional clarity. This way, what once caused you pain or obsession can become a path for growth and emotional balance. When you start to see the deeper parts of your mind, you regain the power to choose where you direct your emotions. You can decide which thoughts are worth focusing on and shift your energy towards personal growth. The person who once filled your thoughts may still be important to you, but they no longer control your mind. Through self-awareness, emotional detachment, and healing, you can release yourself from the hold of obsessive thoughts and return to a place where your true self can grow and thrive. As we've discussed today, the people who stay on our minds aren't just there by chance. They carry important messages, lessons, and reflections of deeper parts of ourselves that need attention. By understanding the hidden connections, emotional ties, projections, and archetypes involved, we can break free from the patterns that hold us back and restore emotional balance. Remember, personal growth is a process, and every experience, even the tough ones, helps us become a fuller version of ourselves. If you found this journey into the mind meaningful, please give this video a thumbs up so others can find this valuable content too. Don't forget to subscribe, where we dive into the exciting worlds of psychology, philosophy, and personal growth every day. Turn on the notifications so you never miss a chance to learn more about your true self. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep growing, and keep embracing the journey within.